In his tweet to Richard Sherman, he basically said, Sherman, you should understand coverage. You should understand what's happening. He's basically saying, look, I've got double covered here. Fine. What in the world does that have to do with effort?
Am I going to be that guy that everybody questions the effort on? And I'm double covered, so I'm just kind of giving up and I'm not running hard because why should I get the ball? I'm double covered. Well, every great receiver is double covered. You run your route, you get open, and you make plays. Or am I going to be the guy that I've been for Dallas most of this year? It's a great day to be alive on the Dead Jeff Show. I'm Jeff. He's Nick. Welcome in. What episode number is this, Maestro? Episode number 12. We made it to 12.
Dirty dozen.
The Dirty Dozen. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Please watch all the videos you can, comment, interact as much as you can. We really appreciate that. Now, this is the Cowboys kind of mini bye week, so we've got some other topics we're going to talk about. Today's going to be college football playoff. We're going to talk a little bit about Cowboys-Lions Revisited. We're going to go through the best teams in the NFL and kind of around the NFL, if you will. And then we'll get into some Mavs and Spurs talk, along with our regular Knicks picks and what's killing Jeff. But look, I literally, Luke and Nick, I just came from seeing a Christmas show. Literally. And you wouldn't believe what Christmas show I just went and watched. Luke already knows, but it's an Elvis tribute artist named Craig Parker doing Elvis impersonating and incorporating Elvis's Christmas songs. What do you think about that, Nick?
I mean, I'm actually I'm a pretty big Elvis fan. I wouldn't call myself a diehard Elvis fan, but we went and saw the movie as soon as it came out with Austin Butler and loved it. Thought it was phenomenal. So, I know his catalog pretty well. I think I've heard just about every Elvis song, even seen a few of his movies. So, that's actually pretty cool. Is this something that they do all the time, or is it like a one-off?
Well, this
special...
guy, Craig Parker, is renowned famous, I think, at being Elvis impersonator. But let me tell you why and how I became an Elvis fan. So my music taste goes from Sinatra to Elvis to country to Tribe Called Quest, hip hop, R&B, New Edition, all this stuff. I've got a very unusual music taste. I like a lot of stuff, right? And so as a kid, Christmas time would come around, and my stepdad had this old 8-track player. Yeah, 8-track. Google it if you don't know what that is. But this 8-track player, he had several 8 tracks in a case. Some of them I'll give shout outs was Johnny Paycheck. I don't know if you know who that is.
Nope.
There's Johnny Lee. There's a lot of Johnnies in there, by the way. But one of the 8 tracks was Elvis's Christmas album on an 8-track. And so every year at Christmas Eve, I would put in that 8-track and let that thing play all Christmas Eve into Christmas morning. And so I would go to sleep with it on. I'd wake up and the Elvis 8-track, the Christmas album, would be playing. So obviously I love oldies. I love doo-wop. I love all that stuff from the 50s. But Elvis, my mom was a big fan of Elvis. And so that's my tie to Elvis. I would always listen to the Christmas album. So man, it was very cool going to see Craig Parker impersonating Elvis. He's been doing it for over 20 years. I've never seen him, but it was a very cool show. He did all the hits plus all the Christmas songs.
How long does a show like that go?
Well, listen, since the median age is probably 75, literally, we were looking around going, I think there's only like 4 couples in here that are our age or younger. But the median age is around 75, so that he had to keep it to like an hour and a half. I think there was people getting up from multiple bathroom breaks. No disrespect to that, but we did feel a little bit out of place, right?
That's funny.
But it was cool. Yeah, it was in Grapevine.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was in Grapevine over at the Palace Theater. Have you ever been down to the downtown area around Christmas time? It's pretty cool. They got it blocked off, and it looks like a Hallmark Christmas movie, honestly, down there in Grapevine. But it was very cool. I would recommend it. I know he travels around the Metroplex. If Elvis is not your thing, well, then fast forward through that part. All
Well,
right.
you mentioned it well, I'm just curious, right? You mentioned it as, the Christmas album. Do you have, like, an all-time go-to Christmas album? Like, is that it? Is it the Elvis Christmas album?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
based on the history, but it's the nostalgia of it, right? It's not just the songs. I mean, it's Elvis on his Christmas album. He does some of the classics. He does some of the gospel-y Christmas songs, but he also puts some blues in there on that album. You need to check it out. I thought you would be hip to that album.
Yeah, I've
The-
heard some of it. I know
yeah.
the mainstream ones, obviously. I don't think I've ever sat and just went cover to cover on the album, which I enjoy doing with any album I hear. I normally won't just listen to the solo or any of the mainstream stuff. I'll go cover to cover. Mine is Michael Bublé. I love
Oh yeah.
Bublé's Christmas album. That's my kind of go-to.
Yeah, I like Buble.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm interested to check that out.
My daughter used to call him Chloe. She used to call him Michael Bubbles, but it's for whatever that's worth. But yeah, I like Christmas music.
Yeah, oh, me too.
It's but Elvis is the go-to Christmas album. There's obviously go-to Christmas songs
So, of course, of course.
that you can, venture to guess. But no, it was pretty cool. The nostalgic feel of, taking me back to those Christmas Eves as a child. Yes, 8-track. I had that thing in my garage for a long time. I bet my wife threw it away. She's always
So
throwing away
you
my stuff without me knowing.
so you were how old were you when Brenda Lee released "Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree"? I mean, that must have been
Hey
an
man,
exciting time.
bro, is that a shot?
Oh,
I
no,
was I was not born yet, I don't believe. When was that song when was that song released?
sometime in the '40s or '50s, I'm pretty sure.
No, it was the 60s, I think.
I don't know.
Look
I
up
just it's
Brenda
just
Lee's "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree." When was that released? Sir, I was born in
uh,
'73. Okay?
let's see. Christmas Tree was released in 1958.
Yeah, so 1958. So no, I was not around when that was going. I
No,
was
no,
around, when Wham's "Last Christmas" was big. So
that's a
for what that's
that's
worth.
a that's a big track.
Yeah, that's a classic one. So tell us what your favorite Christmas song is, or your go-to Christmas album, in the
Well, the boy
comments.
yeah. Oh, I thought you were asking me. I was gonna say
No,
Boyz
no,
II
I,
Men.
I I know. Yeah, we've talked about this at the
Yeah, yeah.
office. Boys to Men is a must.
Yeah, yeah.
And so there are a lot of other ones. Is there
Yeah.
any recent ones that you like, Christmas albums?
No, not at all. I mean, Bublé's the closest, but I think that was like
What about Justin
well,
Bieber? He's got a
no.
cool song.
He's got a cool song. I don't mind the song. The album was not good at all, though.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't think I ever listened to his whole album, just the mistletoe song.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, nothing recent.
so there's a few songs out there. You know what? This is weird, but I honestly like CeeLo Green's Christmas album.
I was just gonna say, I just heard it shuffled on my track. Um, it's gonna escape. The name of the song is the gospel, Mary.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Mary, did you know?
Mary, did you know? There you go.
Yeah,
I've been listening to a lot of Christmas music, so my
yeah,
Spotify auto shuffled it. Phenomenal vocals on that song. So I'm definitely gonna check out the seal. I didn't know he
yeah.
had a whole album, but man, that song was phenomenal.
Yeah, I think him and Blake Shelton put one out at the same time when they were on The Voice together. Not They didn't put
Mm.
one out together, but they put one out. So yeah, I like all kinds of Christmas music, but I don't, recently I don't know. I've heard the what's that espresso lady song? What's her name?
Sabrina Carpenter, her Chris I was just about to say her Christmas
Hold
special
on,
that she
don't hype it up because I'm about to trash it.
No, 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 no. I was not the album. I didn't hear the album, but the
Oh,
special that she did when she had like MGK come out and she had Christina Aguilera come out and oh, you know
I
what?
didn't see that. I didn't see that.
Yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah. I think that's some
she
anyway.
changed one of her songs to make it a Christmas song, and if you pay attention to those lyrics, it's pretty raunchy.
Oh, of course.
So I don't,
She's
I
terribly
sound like an
raunchy.
old man. I know I
You
just
do.
talked about going to Elvis, but man, I don't need to talk about that kind of stuff
Yeah.
with Christmas. Now, Boys to Men was talking about love, guys. They're talking
Yeah.
about, spending time with your loved one, not what Sabrina Carpenter was talking about.
I
Anyway, yeah,
mean,
go ahead, Nick. Tell us your other go-to albums besides
yeah,
Buble and Boys to Men.
yeah, we're splitting hairs there. Honestly, man, those are probably those are probably the two I have just like you, I have songs. Outside of those two albums, I've got, I actually one of the albums recently, and I don't know how recent it is now, but the last version of The Grinch that they did, that had like Tyler the Creator and there
Oh
was a few
yeah,
different that album was
was that the Jim
actually
Carrey movie or with the? Oh, you're talking about
no,
the animation movie,
right,
the
Ben
the the Grinch
Cumberbatch.
soundtrack for the animation movie. Yeah,
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. I actually like that a lot.
yeah,
Some of the remixes on there were pretty cool, a little bit of a hip hop feel.
yeah.
So that was actually pretty cool. I like that one.
Yeah, I like I do the playlist. Apple playlist, Spotify playlist, the holiday hits or the
Yep.
whatever they're called. Those usually cover all the oldies, the classics, and some of the new stuff. And I guess it's kind of hard to have a new Christmas song that really hits. I think Kelly Clarkson did it. Who else?
Mhm.
You know, we talked about
Sia
Bieber,
Sia had
Mariah
one,
Carey, of
Snow
course. Mariah Carey is Miss
of
Christmas.
course, yeah.
Uh,
Sia has one called Snowman that's pretty good. I like that one a lot.
oh, I just heard that one. I'm not a Sia fan, but I just heard that one in the car with my daughter on the way back from church. And
Yeah.
I'm not a Sia fan, but Ariana Grande has a couple of good Christmas songs,
Yep.
but
Yep.
yeah, she's been acting a little weird lately, so I'm not sure if what to say
Man, that
about
wicked
that.
that wicked money's going to her head, man.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe there's something to that wicked stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, tell us your favorite Christmas albums, your favorite Christmas songs, and tell us maybe some of your Christmas memories involving music. Maybe this music was a big part of y'all's Christmases, just like it was mine. Just tell us a little bit about that. But Nick, I don't know if you've heard, like, you know, the Cowboys kind of have a mini bye this week, so we're going to focus
Uh-huh.
a little bit on some college football. So I don't know if you heard they released the bracket.
Yeah, I watched it live at 11 o'clock this morning. I watched the whole show, listened to the interviews. You know, I would say 90% of it is not uninteresting in that it doesn't have any entertainment value. It absolutely
Yeah,
does, but I don't think it was surprising.
right.
The 10% of it around the Notre Dame and Miami stuff is extremely fascinating.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I watched the same show, and I was being facetious, obviously, because it's been the talk of most of the
yeah,
morning and yesterday. And we'll go through the championship games here in a minute, and go through the bracket. But just let's just do that now. Let's go. Let's talk about the championship games. What were your thoughts looking at some of the big games, the SEC game, the Big Ten game, um, all those things?
yeah. I'll start with the Big Ten game because to me it was one that I think obviously everyone was looking forward to. I think it was
That's my
you know
team.
in yeah Indiana last year really surprised, obviously, everybody. Signetti just, man, talk about using the transfer portal the right way and getting a ton of talent in it, quickly. They say a lot of the things, and you see this at Colorado, you see this in other places. You bring all these players in, and the chemistry, it's so difficult, right? You're trying to throw a lot of very talented players, of course, together, but we've seen
Yeah,
time and time again, talent doesn't equal anything. So the fact that Signetti can do this with some regularity and just I saw the graphic during the game, he's like 25-2 or
yeah.
something ridiculous like that.
Well,
Um, Go ahead.
let me just frame this because I think it's worth noting. Being an Indiana fan my whole life, mainly basketball because I'm a basketball guy, Hoosier.
Of course.
Our football team is stunk, and matter of fact, it's the second most losingest, football team in a power conference I think ever.
Ever. That's
So,
right.
so thank goodness for the transfer portal and the NIL so that we could actually compete, and thank God for Kurt Signetti.
Yeah.
And last year, everyone called us a pretender. Everyone
Fluke. Yep.
called it a fluke.
Yep.
Everyone said we shouldn't have been in the playoff, and because we got beat in that first game against Notre Dame,
Hmm.
that we didn't belong and all that stuff. I had to hear from my friend Scott about how Indiana's not that good, but this year they put some respect on that name, right?
Yep.
And Kurt Signetti, the funniest thing about him, he's very cocky. And I don't want to turn this to an Indiana football podcast because this could be just the one in, 1 year that I
Yeah.
have, to brag about. But he's very cocky with the media and with the players. But I love his spirit. I love what he's done. I love, even Mendoza's after game speech. And but for you guys who don't know, Indiana beat Ohio State 13-10
Yeah.
in a very awesome defensive battle.
Great throwback.
Um, I thought Mendoza was a little dramatic in his interviews after the game, but it was cool to see, right?
Yeah.
Because he's a Heisman front runner, they say,
Yeah.
and we'll see. But it was very cool. I want to tell you, I almost shed a sports tear when Indiana beat Ohio State. I mean, we've
Yeah.
lost 30 in a row to those guys,
Yeah.
and so it was very cool to be able to share that moment with my son too. He's like, Luke, the maestro's texting me. I can't believe Indiana's this good. It's like a video game. It's like we've created awesome players to go to Indiana, and they're
Yeah.
actually winning, but it's real.
Yeah, man, it's so cool. And I mean, for me, I said this on the last time we talked about this. I always want chaos, as much as I have my preference. My team is Oregon, based largely on uniform. So, and it's nothing like I grew up with. I don't have this crazy allegiance. So if they lose, I'm not gonna you know go too crazy about it. But what it does allow me to be is a very fluid college football fan, because now these games are just I'm just a spectator and I can just appreciate it for what it is. And
Yeah.
watching that game, man, it really just felt to me like a old school throwback. Some of those super super defensive heavy. Even in the NFL in the early 2000s. I just
Mhm.
love it. Smash mouth football, really really awesome. And look, I don't think anyone can accuse Indiana of being a pretender now. I think one year maybe
No.
flash in the pan, but they beat Oregon in a really good game. I watched that entire
Mhm.
game earlier in the year against Oregon. Um, and then of course this one now against Ohio State. And they had other good ones. These are just the two kind of marquee ones. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, I thought it was phenomenal. I think it's great for the sport. I think it creates a whole bunch of intrigue into the playoff, and you know, did not see it going that way at all. I thought Ohio State would win easily.
Yeah, and there's a couple plays, obviously both teams missed a field goal that they
Yep,
should have had. So, but the play with saying his knee hitting the turf on the fourth down was huge. That changed the whole game, and
yep,
so very fortunate to get that win, but very hard fought win, and they earned it. So uh,
yeah.
now the other championship games, the other big ones weren't really close. We had Texas Tech over
Mhm.
BYU.
Big 34-7.
Yeah, and I think BYU had a huge drive to start that game, went like 90 yards and got a touchdown, and then only had 100 and some yards after that first
Yeah, the
drive.
total the rest of the
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, insane.
So what do you think of Texas Tech?
Look, just like with Indiana to some degree, this is a little bit of an old school throwback in that they really kind of hang their hat on the defensive side of the ball. They want to get stops, they want to turn the ball over. They turned BYU over 3 times the first time they played, and then got 4 this time. So this is a team that really, really wants to turn the ball over, but you know, that offense is still pretty dynamic. Now it's the Big 12, and so it's
Mhm.
a little bit points are a little bit easier to come by in the Big 12 than they might be in the Big 10. But I think Texas Tech is again, and this is what I was saying, it just creates so much intrigue, right? Because any of those top 4 teams that ultimately we would imagine end up playing each other, and certainly other teams will have something to say about that. But if I get any combination of those 4, Indiana Tech and then Georgia, Ohio State would be how it would play out if everyone gets through. Um, I mean, what more can you ask for as a college football fan, man? That's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. And I think NIL has really helped Texas Tech. They've got some big money backers that have really brought in some good players, and the
Yep.
coach has been tremendous. And
Yeah.
so I'm happy they're able to keep him. But my daughter went to Tech for a semester. I don't know if that counts, but she went there. So and we've got a lot of friends that are Red Raiders. But
Yeah.
they look scary on offense for sure.
Yeah.
And
And
go ahead.
I would just say, I mean, with all of that being said, we're talking about Ohio State, we're talking about Indiana, we're talking about Tech. Uh, for my money, if you're going to force me to put money on a team before the playoffs start, I'm not betting against Kirby Smart,
Well,
right? Like,
let's hold on. Let's save that for our college football picks.
yeah,
Don't get
yeah, yeah.
ahead, Nick.
Well, no, no, no. I was
Don't
just
give
gonna.
away the ending.
No, 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 no. What I was gonna say was in the SEC championship game, to me,
Yeah,
he just outcoached DeBauer. DeBauer.
DeBoer.
Butcher that
Yeah,
last. Yeah, and
DeBoer.
so to me, Kirby Smart and obviously Georgia very, but Bama beat them earlier in the year, right? So that's it's
At
it's
Georgia.
avenging that loss. Yeah, right. So, um, and they did not look for much of the game like they even belonged on the same field. Georgia made that game pretty uninteresting for a very long time. Um, and it was again through their defense. It was a little bit of a defense wins championships motif going on here. And Kirby Smart just looked every bit the part of the dynasty he's had at Georgia for the last 7 years, whatever it's been. And the SEC championship game, although that was the game I was looking forward to the most,
Yeah.
ended up being almost wholly unwatchable just because Georgia looked like clearly the better team.
Well, let's be fair, and I don't need to make excuses for Alabama because they've had enough success.
Yep.
Shout out again to the Thrashers. Growing up, they were big Bama fans, but they were down several players. They've
Hmm.
been injured. They're going to get those players back against Oklahoma. Well, we'll get to that later, but they're
Yeah.
going to get those players back. So they had those players when they went to Georgia and won, but
Hmm.
they didn't have their top running back. They had several players out. So, but the quarterback didn't look great. The offensive line was terrible,
Hmm.
and for Bama, and Georgia was just all over them.
Yeah.
So, and before Saturday's games, we had North Texas playing Tulane,
Yep.
which was, had a little local flair there. We thought maybe if North Texas wins, they could get into the college football playoff.
Yep.
But um, one thing that I noticed watching that game was the size of Tulane in the trenches. They
Yeah.
seemed much bigger
Yeah.
than North Texas, and North Texas seemed to have speed. But man, they won the war in the trenches. Tulane did.
Yeah, and knowing how everything played out, it kind of does suck because I think, had North Texas won, especially given that Duke would beat Virginia, North Texas probably is in the is in the playoff had they won that game, which, just locally, I think that's really, really cool. That would have been really awesome. But I couldn't agree with you more. And just like we're saying, the eye test, we talk about the eye test a lot. You just watch that game and Tulane looked, like they were going to be tough for North Texas to overcome. You can talk about speed all you want. You can talk about X's and O's, but at the end of the day, a lot of these games are won and lost on the offensive and defensive line.
Yeah, for sure. And the interesting thing about the ACC game was that Miami wasn't in it, and I think they
Mm.
lost tiebreakers somehow to
Mhm.
to not be in it. But you
Yep.
had Duke upset Virginia, which you like chaos, so it caused a little bit of
Yeah.
chaos because there's one at large uh, bid that's gone because Miami didn't win the ACC. So, any other conference championship games you want to talk about before we go into the bracket?
No, I think the only thing I would say from the entire conference championship week is just I like the way that, because it used to be for I'm gonna, throw it back just a little bit. It used to be forever that, like the Big 12 and some of these other conferences that didn't have the conference championship game, and it was strategic in nature because there was only, a few teams made the playoff, and there's all the politics that go into
Hmm.
college football. I
Yeah.
think having, all of these major conferences having conference championship games really adds something, and I do really appreciate the fact that seemingly the loser of these games, if they should have been in the playoff, are not being punished for going and losing a conference championship game. I think that's really good for the sport.
Yeah, and I think there's some talk now. Will conference championship games still be a thing in the
Yeah.
future? And we can get into that when we talk about the bracket. But let's get into the bracket that was released at 11 o'clock Central Time this morning. Well,
Yep.
we had to listen to about 15 minutes of boring banter with the
Yeah.
ESPN before we could get to the bracket.
Yeah.
But once
Yeah.
they got to the bracket, then things got entertaining. So Nick,
Yeah.
why don't you start with the top four seeds?
Yeah, so pretty clean, like I said, pretty much what everyone expected. The one thing that we weren't, obviously once the games were out is would Ohio State drop below Georgia?
Yeah,
That was kind of the only real big question mark 1 through 4. But you had Indiana at 1. Ohio State, in fact, did not drop below Georgia. So Ohio State's 2, Georgia is 3, and then Texas Tech is 4. Pretty chalk for I
yeah.
think what most people thought it would be.
Now here's an interesting thing. Now I heard you say earlier that you picked Oregon to be your college football team because of uniforms.
Yeah.
That's kind of how my wife picks NCAA basketball tournament teams, like based on their names and their colors. So it's a
Yeah.
little questionable from you. I want to tell you, a little questionable. But here's a little fun fact: all top four seeds are red, is their primary color. What do you think
Oh
about
yeah.
that?
I mean, I love red, so I love that.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever would have picked that up, but yeah, it's pretty cool. So
that's
what
why
you
I'm
got
here
red?
to spot those
Yeah,
details that you don't spot. That's the way my
yeah,
brain works, though. I love red and black, and
yeah,
a lot of them have red and black, but it's not the
for
same
sure.
shade of red, but some
No,
sort of red. And red's represented a lot in these 12 teams. So those are the top four teams. And do you want to go
yep,
down just 5 through 12 and
yeah,
then talk
yeah,
about the matchups?
yeah.
Okay.
We'll do that. We got Oregon at 5, Ole Miss at 6, A&M at 7, Oklahoma at 8, Bama at 9, Miami, which is the kind of one that is, and we'll dive into it, but Miami at 10, and then your the next two conference champions, which would be Tulane at 11,
Mm-hmm.
and then the kind of not surprised because you had to have the second conference champion, but James Madison getting in there at number 12.
Yeah, so maybe if those who don't know, you have to have 5 conference
That's right.
champions in this playoff, which is kind of a
Hmm.
strange rule.
Yep.
And so you have teams on the outside. You got Notre Dame. Notre
Yes.
Dame on Tuesday was ranked ahead of Miami, even though
Yep.
Miami beat Notre Dame.
That's right.
On Tuesday, they were ranked ahead of them, but neither
Yeah.
one of those teams played. And then the committee
That's right.
decides, well, let's flip those.
Yeah, and I think the explanation that we got makes no sense to me. If I'll just be totally honest, I think
Yeah.
I think somebody kept calling it a farce on the show, and I can't remember which one it was. And actually, I think it was Notre Dame's AD. That's what it was. Notre Dame AD was the one that came out and said this is a farce,
Yeah.
and I agree
Well,
because
what's
the
he going to
whole
say? They didn't get
yeah,
in.
well, yeah. Well, I mean, the principle here is the reason why on Tuesday Notre Dame was ahead of Miami is because BYU was separating the two teams, and thus we didn't have to look at them comparatively speaking.
That doesn't
With
make any sense.
zero, so what in the world does BYU have to do with Notre Dame and Miami? So we go from Tuesday, where Notre Dame, as you said, is ranked ahead of Miami. So now BYU loses, why ever that matters. BYU loses, and now we have to put Miami and Notre Dame right after one another, and thus we have to look at the head-to-head
Yeah.
game. They went back and even rewatched the Notre Dame Miami game,
Came
and
down to the
then
field goal, right?
right, and then now they have Miami jumping Notre Dame as a result of it. Just makes the if you were going to do that, the resume is complete on Tuesday. Everything
Right.
that they needed to do was done. There is nothing else to learn from Miami Notre Dame. If Notre Dame was not going to get in over Miami, they should not have been ahead of them on Tuesday. It makes zero sense. And now
Yeah.
Notre Dame has even declined. They're not even playing in the bowl game anymore. They just said we're out.
Well, that's kind of emotional. I'll be honest with you. I mean, is it time for not to, just to be for the record, whatever you're breaking over there, whatever you're banging around over there, I'm not sure, but um, I believe Miami should be ahead of Notre Dame, but it should have been earlier because they beat them head to head. I feel like that should have been the case. But is it time for Notre Dame to join a conference? I mean, what's up with that? I mean, it's been that way for a very long time. I get it, but is it time for them to join a conference?
Yeah, I think so. And I know a lot of I'm a big video game college football video game person, and when we do these online dynasties, one of the first things that we always kind of settle on is putting Notre Dame into it used to be the Pac-12
Yeah.
because a lot of the natural rivalries they have there. Now it's the Big Ten. Um, but just from just for continuity's sake and not having this one thing that's different from all the rest for whatever weird reason, yeah, absolutely. They should, if nothing else, get have a football conference schedule. They can
Yeah.
remain an independent. That's fine. But at least in football, given the way everything's going now, unless they get to a 16-team playoff, which is possible,
Yeah.
they should be in a conference.
Yeah, I think so. It's just time. But I will say this: it looks like being in a super conference. Remember, that was a big deal. Like the Big
Yeah.
Ten's got 18 teams, the SEC's got a bajillion teams now,
Yeah.
and that was the thing. Let's build up these conferences. That looks like it could hurt if they don't change these rules now because they want these conference championships to matter and
Yeah.
put and incorporate all these conferences. I get that, but if you're in one of these super conferences, like a Texas, and Notre Dame's not in the conference. Who else got snubbed? I can't think of it was
Well,
Texas, Notre Dame, BYU,
BYU, yeah.
but they got crushed by Tech, so I'm not sure
Yeah,
they
I
deserved it.
think the reason why people say they got snubbed is because they played essentially they only had one loss. They lost to Texas Tech twice. And so other than that, this had been on paper and by all accounts a really, really good
Yeah.
football team. So if you lose only to the number 4 team in the country, um, you
Yeah.
know, does that really keep you out? Like, should that be the case? And I think there's an argument to be made there. I mean, I can understand the thought process, but um,
Well, do you
that
think
would be
this
the other
is
one.
deliberate with college football? I don't think that we've ever had a system that wasn't debated about teams getting snubbed. Do you think they want these discussions? Jerry Jones says no press. The only kind of bad press is no press, right?
Yeah.
And so good or bad press, it's all good. Do you
Uh-oh.
think this is what they're thinking? Because
Yeah.
I heard Herb Street talk about, well, this needs to be a 16 team playoff. Well, then 17 and 18 are going to be snubbed, and everybody's going to be frustrated. So I just think this is part of the DNA of college sports, if you can call it college sports anymore. With they're basically semi-pro now, or
Yeah.
a developmental league, however you want to say it. But do you think it's part of what they want is all this discussion?
Yeah, I absolutely do, and I think you're right. The old Jerry Jones thing is talk about me however you want, just please talk about me.
Mhm.
That's definitely the MO here. And I will say, just to the 16 team playoff thing, yes, 17 and 18 will be snubbed, but I think the reality of it, and they've done this every year. You can find them online where it's like, if you had a 16 team playoff, this is what the bracket would have looked like. I think even leaving those two teams that don't get in, I don't know that anyone really believes those two teams are gonna be as impactful as a Texas, a Notre Dame, a
Yeah.
BYU. Like, if you had a 16-team playoff, all 3 of those teams are in.
Yeah.
Somewhere in some corner, someone believes that on any given Saturday, all 3 of those teams, maybe less BYU, but certainly Texas and Notre Dame have the opportunity to go anywhere and win any game and could get hot and win a national championship. If you go to 16 teams in which all 3 of those teams would be in, I highly doubt that 17 and 18 would be like, "Oh, they for sure could win a natty." So, I think that's maybe where I would disagree with you just a little bit. I'm a proponent of 16 team. I like
Yeah.
that. But having said that, I'm not sure that they won't. Here's the thing, the more playoff teams you have, the
Yeah.
more watered down the regular season becomes, the more watered down the conference championships become. Um, and then, it does lose a little bit of that. You can lose one, certainly. The second one gets a little bit dicey. If you lose 3, you ain't making it, and I think
Yeah.
that keeps a lot of interest in the regular season going.
Well, the other thing that was mentioned was maybe you put I think this was Herb Street that mentioned this, where you put a criteria that you have to be ranked in the top 15 or top 16 or whatever it is to get in. That's a criteria. So like James Madison or Tulane, I don't think they were ranked in the top 15 or 16. So if you're a conference champion, you have to at least be up there to be considered, or the other teams jump you. I mean, that's something they could think about, but
Yeah.
I don't think this will ever be a perfect system. It's
No.
not like, hey, it's not like the NFL where you got all these divisions that are locked, and you got so
Yeah.
many teams, so many things to consider,
Yeah.
strength of schedule, who they playing, who they beat, who beat
Common
them.
opponents, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get into the matchups, the rest of the matchups. We got the 4 seeds. We know who made it. So let's talk about the matchups, starting with your uniform loving Ducks.
Yeah, so Oregon and JMU, I mean, God, I wonder, and I'll look real quick and see if the early line is up there. You have a prediction on what the early line might be, Oregon versus JMU?
13 and a half.
So I just pulled this, 21.5 point
Oh, my.
favorites are the
Oh, my.
Oregon Ducks.
Yeah, and so that's what people are saying. They have no chance to win this. Why are they in it? People said it
That
about
right.
Indiana last
That's
year.
right. Yep.
And so I get that, but the rules are the rules. You have to take 5 champions. That's the rules they made. So until they
Mhm.
change that, that's you can't really argue with it. I mean, are they going to take Duke over James Madison? I don't think so.
No. No.
And that's just kind of strange. So obviously, Oregon versus James Madison, that's like a bye for Oregon, is what you're
Really?
saying.
Yep, that's right.
So we can go ahead and do our picks as we talk about this first round matchup. So you're taking Oregon because of their uniforms,
Clearly.
and I'm taking Oregon because they're better at football.
Yeah, because you're not a silly man. Yeah, I got it. So that'll set up Oregon and Texas Tech. We go down to 6-11 would be Ole Miss and Tulane. Now, interesting thing here is they played already
Mhm.
this year.
Yep.
Ole Miss and Tulane played earlier, September 20th this year. Final score
Yep.
45-10.
Right.
Now it was in Mississippi, so
Yep.
maybe that's worth a touchdown,
So it's
something
now
like that.
35-10. So
Yeah. And so Ole Miss is currently a 17.5 point favorite at Tulane. So again, seems to be a little bit of a
right.
little bit of a uneven matchup here. And yeah, I will take Ole Miss, and I don't, even with Lane Kiffin not being in there anymore, Charlie Weiss
Yeah.
Jr. OC still calling plays. Yeah, I'll take Ole Miss.
Obviously, Ole Miss is the pick, but you don't think any of this Lane Kiffin drama will be in the heads of those kids, or are some of them gonna follow Lane Kiffin and they're sort of kind of halfway in and out in this, or you think they're locked in to win a national championship?
Yeah, I think they're locked in. I think this game, if there was going to be, I think this is one of those where ordinarily you've got Georgia waiting for you potentially. You
Yeah.
could talk a little bit about a trap game. You've already beat them once. You don't have your head coach. This would be normally a great opportunity to kind of have a let up.
Overlooking them. Yeah.
Exactly. But I think in this instance, they're going to be so committed to proving that wrong that
Right.
I think this may even be worse than the first one. I think Georgia may be where all of those things come to play. I think this one though, I don't think this will be close at all.
Okay. Yeah, I think we agree on that. We can go to the next one because those two are
Yep.
buys for
Yep.
my taste.
So that would set up Georgia and Ole Miss. 7-10 matchup is Texas A&M at Kyle Field will be hosting Miami in what should be a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
Um,
So, yeah, I think this is this is probably the most interesting matchup in the first round to me,
okay.
because this one's kind of hard to pick. Obviously, I think A&M is going to be favored,
Mm-hmm.
but look at A&M's schedule. Who have they beaten?
That's very true.
You know what I mean?
Not a ton of marquee wins on their schedule this year.
And I think that, I think the committee missed a chance for an old rivalry to be renewed. If they could have put Oklahoma against Miami, that could have been
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But in this one, I think all things being even, you might lean towards the home team. What is the spread on this one?
It is 3.5 for A&M right now.
Basically a pick 'em, right?
Basically a pick 'em. That's right.
So who do you have, Nick?
I like Miami.
Yep.
I
Because of
think
their
for every
uniforms?
yeah, because their uniforms.
They're
Because of everything
orange
you
and
just
green?
because of the orange and green, yeah, those are I'm not a I love the U, I love the, just the yeah, I love the history behind it. Huge Michael Irvin at
Yeah.
Miami fan. But I think because A&M has not really proven anything in terms of big game this year, I'm gonna get all kinds of hate from the A&M fans, I already know, but, you
Get them,
know,
guys.
I like what we know for sure is that not every single home team is gonna win. That's
Do we?
almost a guarantee. That's almost a guarantee, right? In these playoff situations, the home teams in the first round of playoffs never sweep. It never happens.
So this is the one.
I think this is well, we'll see
What
how
about
Oklahoma,
what
Alabama.
about the next
Yeah,
one?
yeah, we'll see how the next one goes. But for right now, I've got Miami beating A&M.
Okay. I'm going to go. Listen, I'm not an Aggie fan, but I think Miami's probably a better team. But this game is at Kyle Field, and that's a huge advantage for
Yep,
A&M. And
that's
I
true.
think they'll squeak it out. I think they'll squeak it out, and get to that second round. That's what I think. I like their quarterback down there at A&M,
Yeah,
but I'll just say they'll squeak by. I'm not sure they'll cover the 3.5. It'll be close. It'll be 3 maybe.
yeah.
So or 1. But I think A&M squeaks by, and then they go on and play. The winner of that game goes on and plays
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Yeah,
All right,
and
the next
then
matchup.
And then the last one for the first round would be Alabama going to Oklahoma. In what again, I do
Rematch.
think Miami. Yeah, I think Miami A&M is probably the best. I agree with you. It's probably the best game in the first round. This would be the next one off clearly to watch in the first round. This is a big fight feel.
Yeah.
Hopefully Alabama gets healthy. Hopefully Alabama gets some of their people back. And
I think they are.
I
They will.
yeah, and just being from Texas, kind of like Dallas, being in Dallas is so hard. I very rarely want to root for Philly, even if I know I should, given
Mhm.
records or whatever the case. A little bit of that going on here. I'm not gonna pick Oklahoma. I don't like Oklahoma, and more than that, I think Bama is probably going to be really really upset with the way that they played in the SEC championship game, and they're going to have a little bit something to prove. So I'll take Bama in this one.
Yeah, I think Bama roll tide. They will roll over Oklahoma. I'm hoping they don't for the next round's sake, but it would be kind of cool for me and my childhood friend Scott. We used to, wish Indiana and Alabama would play each other in basketball or football, but we may get our wish here. But how would you like to be the number one seed for the first time ever, and possibly have to play Alabama as your first game?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't
no,
think the committee did us any favors at Indiana going, all
right.
right, congratulations, you're going to play Alabama.
and on a neutral field. I have to see if I can figure out where
Oh,
that game potentially will be, but,
yeah,
that's
another
that's
thing. Yeah.
very tough, but
These bowl
right.
games, yeah, these bowl games
Yeah,
will be at these various locations: Sugar Bowl, Peach Bowl,
right,
Rose Bowl.
right.
I don't know if there's
Um,
Peach Bowl's in Atlanta.
just since we gave the spreads on every other one, right now, Sunday night, Alabama is a 1.5 point favorite over Oklahoma. So the only road favorite at the moment is Bama over Oklahoma.
Yeah, and I think most people think Bama will win that unless you live in Oklahoma or you live in Texas because you went to Oklahoma. Um, but for me, being an Indiana fan, I hope Oklahoma pulls the upset. But if Alabama wins, I'll be excited to see that matchup because my friends have been talking trash to me about Indiana's, a phony last year. They're not that good, but he did give them respect this year, and that was before he saw the bracket. So we'll see how it goes. Either way, that's two more red teams though, Oklahoma and Alabama.
You got you picked it, I guess, accurately, right? You got a lot of red going on there.
What is that noise?
That was an ad that just popped up as I'm trying to find the location of these of these next
Man, what are you
games.
watching while we're doing a podcast here, man?
Hey man, I'm trying to get us prepared here.
You're checking on what Texas Tech's uniforms are going to look like next year because
Yeah,
you might want to switch to them.
exactly.
They got cool uniforms.
They actually do have pretty cool
I
uniforms.
know. That's
I'm
what
not
I'm
gonna lie
saying.
to you.
All right. So the
Um,
matchups then would be Indiana versus Alabama, according to us.
yep, yep,
And then we'd have Ohio State versus Miami in your
right,
case, and A&M in my case.
yep.
And then you have Georgia versus Ole Miss.
Mhm.
That's who we have. And then we have the fourth
Oregon and
seed,
Tech,
Oregon and what?
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Oh, what a match that would be.
Oh man.
Yeah, that the battle of the
Yeah,
uniforms. Yeah, the winner, you gets to be your new favorite team, Nick.
yeah, right. I'll take on the. That'll be the game for my sports college football allegiance for next year.
So we'll do this round by round. I don't want to give. I mean,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
do you? We can give who we think's going to win the national championship. And in all honesty, who do you think is going to win the national championship?
Um, I think I would pick. I would lean slightly toward Georgia.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go Homer on this one because it's
Yeah,
our only chance we may ever get, and I've
yeah.
got to pick Indiana. But the defense you saw last night, if our offense plays well, and we were out without our second best receiver. Some
Mhm.
say he's our first best receiver, but Surratt, and then, gosh, why can't the name just escape me? That's okay. It's a junior, I know that. But the point is, our defense showed up and played well against what most people thought was the best team in the country. So I'm going to stick with Indiana winning it all, and if they do, I'm going to buy all the merch I can and wear it forever because I'll cherish that. But we'll go next week. I guess these don't start till the 19th, right?
19th, right? Yep.
So after that week, we'll pick the next round. But he has Georgia. I have Indiana winning it all. Call me a homer if you want, but I've got to, I've got to take advantage of these times that come once every. How old am I? 50
Yeah.
something, 50 years.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to take advantage of that.
Yeah. I don't
Okay.
think anyone's gonna kill you for that, sir.
Anything you want to say to wrap up our college football segment?
No, just I think in general, I think I love the system as is. Like I said, I am a proponent of the 16 team, but I do think it's just an exciting time of the sports calendar to just be able to get in there and have all these different matchups and some of these kind of dream. What if this team played that team? So it's just as a college football fan, I think it's
Who
it's
is that?
just the best time of the year.
Luke is showing me this picture. I don't know if you can see it on the
Yeah, we can
podcast. It's Mahomes it being caressed. His belly is he's pregnant, being caressed by a ref.
by a ref.
This is funny. This is to all those whiny Kansas City fans against Dallas where they thought they got
Yeah,
hosed on the calls. That's pretty funny. Yeah,
that's
thanks for sharing
hilarious.
that, Luke. But should have shared during the NFL segment. That's all right. Speaking of NFL, wait, great
Yeah,
transition, Luke. Good job, Maestro. We are going to take a revisited look at Cowboys versus Lions very briefly because we did our initial reactions on the unofficial post game show right after the game, and since then we've both taken a look at the All 22 film,
mhm.
and maybe we have some different opinions about what transpired. So, Nick, I'll let you get started with Cowboys versus Lions revisited.
So there's a couple things that popped out to me, and I really kind of focused on the defensive side of the ball. It's something that I've spent a lot of time talking about this year. Um, the amount of times, and I don't have an exact snap count, but I can just say from the eye test, it was uh, conservatively 50-60% of the time where Osa, Kenny, and Quinnen were all on the field at the same time. They've got Kenny and Quinnen certainly right in over center, kind of in that traditional defensive tackle position, and Osa has kind of spread more to a little bit of a an edge rusher. Although I will say they played a lot of this five down linemen kind of sets, so they all three of them really are interior linemen. So that was kind of the first thing that popped out at me. I think obviously it's very good for the run. I think we've talked about that. Montgomery hurt them a little bit, but for the most part, since the trade deadline, they have been very, very good against the run, and I think that scheme has certainly been, eh, you know, that with the addition or the fact that Overshown's come back and the addition of Wilson, the run defense has been great, and I think just looking back at some of the film on that, um, I do like it. It makes me kind of wonder what we're giving up on the backside, just having those kind of schematic decisions. Um, and then the other thing that stuck out at me was and I mean, no disrespect by this. Obviously, the dude's in the NFL. He's probably been the best player he's ever been anywhere. But Murray has no business being on this field, man.
Yeah,
Ever.
I'm glad
There's
you brought that up.
it's just so bad. The amount of times that he's seemingly out of position, that he is. If he's, I'm only going to assume that he is doing his best to make a tackle or make a play, and just misses so frequently. I mean, the dude is a huge liability on defense, and Eberflus's decision to continue to run him out there is very, very puzzling to me.
No, I agree with you. And I think, it's a funny story because my daughter had a friend over from, for Thanksgiving. And she is friends with Kenneth Murray Jr.
Mm,
And I didn't know that before I was, talking about Kenneth Murray Jr. And no disrespect, I'm just like, if he's the best linebacker we got, we're in trouble.
right.
Now, with that being said, Overshown's come back and played better, but we thought maybe we get more from Logan Wilson. But if you look at what he's doing, it's not great either.
Right.
And so I guess Murray is beating out Logan Wilson,
Mm-hmm.
but we definitely need upgraded play there because when Murray's making tackles, it's 15 yards down the field.
100%.
And he doesn't seem to be getting where he needs to get in a hurry. And so, no disrespect to Kenneth Murray Jr. I'm sure he's a fine guy and he's making a great living in the NFL, and I wish him nothing but success, but not on the Cowboys.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree completely.
And
It's
maybe he
just
could be great in spurts, but maybe he's a backup player every few downs, maybe limiting his snap count, but we can't get anybody else on the field to do better.
no. And I think so. To me, those are the two things, right? I do love, because we talked a lot at the trade, and one thing that I was kind of outspoken about is, are you really going to run Osa, Quinnen and Kenny out there all at the same
Yep.
time? I was skeptical of them doing that, and yet they seemingly have done it more and more since the trade deadline, which again against the run has been phenomenal. I don't think that's not an opinion. That's an objective fact. Is that this run defense has been significantly better than it was prior to, Quinnen coming over. I think what are we giving up on the back end to run that kind of scheme and to have those three guys out there? Maybe we're not giving up anything. Maybe it's just how bad our DBs are, but it has to at least be a question.
Well, and one other defensive thing I came across was Bobby Belt's X or Twitter, where
Hmm.
he tweeted. I don't know what is it now called now. If it's not Twitter,
X.
is it you
It's a,
X'd? I know, but what do
oh,
you do? Like
I
if
think you
you
still
tweet
tweet.
something,
I
so
think you still tweet.
you tweet on X.
Right. Right.
That's weird. Okay. But the Cowboys pressured Jared Goff 4 times on the first 6 dropbacks,
Mhm.
blitzing him 3 times in those first 6 dropbacks. Then they only pressured him 4 more times over his next 29 dropbacks. They only blitzed 5 more times on those 29 dropbacks.
Okay, hold on, wait.
That's a lot of
So,
numbers.
yeah, but so basically what you just said is they
Mhm.
blitzed a lot in the first 5 plays of the game,
First 6 plays, they blitzed
first
3
6 plays of
times.
the game,
First
and
6
it w
dropbacks.
okay, I'm sorry, dropbacks, okay,
Yep.
and it worked phenomenally well,
Yeah,
and
worked
then they
well.
decided, "We're not gonna do that anymore."
Over the next 29 dropbacks, the Cowboys blitzed just 5 times on those 29. Now,
And ma
I didn't go verify this from Bobby Belt on X, but, he's pretty reliable. He doesn't really throw around this stuff, so I
Yeah,
trust it.
no,
But
yeah,
that just speaks even more to the foolishness of Eberflus.
yeah, it's, put that as the, above the fold on the headline that reads, "Fire Eberflus," because that's almost criminal that that can
Yeah,
happen, right?
yeah,
I mean, and especially when people that for however often we watch football and however, much football aficionados we consider ourselves, we are not spending hours and hours and hours reviewing stuff. And yet one of the things we said before this game is you must get pressure on Jared Goff. They got pressure on
yeah.
Jared Goff and it helped, and then they went away from it. I don't understand.
Well, and just to be fair, everyone was saying that. I mean, if you look at Goff's
Yep,
numbers
right.
against pressure, he's awful. So wouldn't
Right.
it stand to reason that that's what you do? So that tells me they did not trust their secondary. They did not trust their linebacker players because usually when someone blitzes, you throw where they blitz from, and
Right.
usually it's a linebacker or a corner, obviously, in those
Mhm.
really quick hits. So so that's not smart, right?
No.
That's not good. And when we're talking about the secondary, you said it on the first, Bland led the team in tackles, I think,
Yep.
which is never a good thing, right?
No.
But the defense gave up big chunk plays. I think there was 6 or 7 over 20 yards. I don't
Yep.
I don't know if you have that in
It
your
was
defensive
6.
study. Okay,
It
6
was
plays
6.
over 20 yards,
Yeah.
and it's that's like we said, week 1 through 5 stuff that they were doing. So, anything else from the defensive side of it that you revisited versus the Lions you want to talk about?
No, nothing that we didn't touch on Sunday night, right? I think everything else that kind of what your eyes told you and what we were seeing, the bad timing of penalties and just kind of the not being disciplined, like everything that we talked about on Sunday night kind of came out again. So I would say no, nothing else that we didn't already touch.
Okay. Now, from an offensive standpoint, I think on our initial reaction, I was a little unfair to Dak. Watching this tape back, Dak played better than I originally thought. Now, I said he played well, but
Right.
there were a couple things that his deep balls were not good, and that
Hmm.
was verified watching that
Right.
back. This out of sync, and that's probably because he was under pressure
Yep.
all night. So I would say that I would probably grade Dak higher than I did initially. I mean, he had the stats, 375 yards, right?
Yep.
The 2 picks weren't his fault.
Yep.
I think I said one of them was.
Yep.
It wasn't. I take that back, Dak. Don't make me apologize to Dak again. But I take that back. What I won't take back is the effort from George Pickens. I talked about it a little bit, and we stayed away from it on the initial reaction. We didn't go all in like a lot
Right.
of people have
Hmm.
because the guy's been playing stellar. He's been playing unbelievable, and I think that what I saw was, man, did I really see that? What am
Right.
I? Was it really that? I just said he wasn't attacking the ball. It didn't seem like he was being aggressive that night. But looking back, it's worse
Yeah.
on tape. It's worse because, to his credit, and I know he got into it with Richard Sherman
Hmm.
about, Richard Sherman just called him out saying he was, half button it and
Yep.
lazy and didn't do
Uninterested.
uninterested,
Yep.
and then George fired back at him.
Yep.
But the truth of the matter is that he was getting double teamed a lot, and so was CD. And give credit to the defensive coordinator, Shepard. He had a game plan going in. It's
Yeah.
Shepard, right? I didn't butcher that.
Hmm.
Shepard is the Lions defensive coordinator. I'm terrible with names, so don't hold that against me, guys. But
Okay.
they
Kelvin
came in and
Kelvin
said,
Shepherd.
yeah, they're going. Didn't he play for the Cowboys? Maybe not. I'm thinking of somebody else. Anyway, he he came in and said, somebody else is going to beat us. And,
Right.
CD was able to beat some of those double teams and make some great plays. He could have had some more plays, but Dak's deep ball was off, right? But watching Pickens, he's not running routes hard. He's not aggressively crossing when he's supposed to cross on that interception. I feel like he could have attacked the ball more. It
Yep.
was just worse upon further review.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I had said on that initial night was agreed in that it's what I felt. What I felt was he seemed like he was not running routes hard, but that I wanted a chance to go look at it. But I said if we're right, what's going to happen is this is going to feel significantly worse because when you see it versus what you feel, it always magnifies it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I felt kind of looking back. And even some of the stuff that I saw on, whether it was ESPN, the stuff that Richard Sherman was talking about in the post game. Um, I think the great microcosm of it is on that there was a third down play where he runs a comeback route and he's not being double teamed on that as straight man. And I mean, he is it looks like, because this is a world class athlete, right? We've seen him get up and go, and this dude is speed for days. He looks like he's half speed, if that. And you can see Dak saying something to him as they're coming off the field there. And to me, that was just, again, that was not the only one, but it's the thing that I've kept trying to keep you at bay on, of like why I've kept continuously picking Pickens over CD. This is the thing that if it's the thing that you have to account for given what happened in Pittsburgh. This is not a one-time thing. This is
Yeah.
not like it's the first time we've ever seen George Pickens loafing around the field. And he basically acknowledged it in his tweet to Richard Sherman. Without realizing it, he
Yeah.
basically said, Sherman, you should understand coverage. You should understand what's happening. He's basically saying, look, I've got double covered here. Fine. What in the world does that have to do with effort?
That's
What is
exactly
that?
right. That's not
That
an
has
excuse.
no. And if anything, all you're doing is saying, well, if you're going to play me this way, then I have no reason to try because I can't possibly get the ball.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
want 30 million a year.
I think this is a make or break it time for him right now. He's got a decision to make. Do I own this and show my effort better like I have been all the other games, most of the other games? There's some other times when people were questioning his effort,
Yeah.
but am I going to be that guy that everybody questions the effort on? And I'm double covered, so I'm just kind of giving up and I'm not running hard because why should I get the ball? I'm double covered. Well, every great receiver is double covered. You
Right.
you you run your route, you get open, and you make plays. Or am I going to be the guy that I've been for Dallas, most of this year?
Uh-huh.
This is the question. He's at a fork in the road right here, man. He's at a crossroads, and I think we'll see really quickly. Just like everybody got on CD against the Eagles about his drops. I said these games are anomalies. I even went to his career drop percentage,
Yep.
and he bounced back with an unbelievable game. And I hope he gets
Proved it.
better and can play against the Vikings.
Yep.
Which, by the way, they dominated today with McCarthy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so CeeDee Lamb played awesome. Our offensive line was terrible. That was confirmed.
Mhm.
Nate Thomas, Steele, they were bad. Just got manhandled in the trenches, as we said that night. And special teams. I want to talk about special teams. Brandon Aubrey is a freaking weapon. Now, we've been talking about
Long
his
time.
nickname
Yep.
and how awesome he is.
Yep.
We settled on the A-bomb
Yep.
as his nickname. We're not going with Butter. That's too cute. A guy like
Yeah.
that, who's that awesome, doesn't need a cute nickname.
No.
I really want him to be called Legatron because that really fits him
Right.
more than Greg Zuerlein.
Yeah.
He's Legatron, but I don't know if we can position the nicknaming board to give him that nickname.
Yeah.
But what an incredible weapon that guy is. Have they not extended him yet? What are they waiting
No.
on? Are they going to wait till we have to pay him more and more and more?
Probably. It's going up every week, man. Every week his price tag is going up for sure.
I mean, he is unbelievable. And I saw something weird where he's got more 60-yard field goal makes than all of the kickers from like 40
Like the
years.
first
I don't know.
50, the first 40 or 50 years of the league, there had been like 6 makes of over 60 yards, and that's how many he has in his career now or something.
That's just nuts. I mean, that
It's
guy is
insane.
unbelievable, and he's such a professional. I'm a big fan of Brandon Aubrey, and shout out to Brandon Aubrey because he puts it through the uprights almost every time, and nothing to complain about with him. But the special teams we need to complain about is our kick returns and our kick return coverage.
Yeah.
Turpin is tiptoeing through daisies now on kickoff
Yeah.
returns. I don't know if it's because he's been hurt, he's trying to stay healthy and not get hurt,
Yeah.
but he's not running the same on kickoff returns. And we could not cover kickoffs against the Lions. And I don't want to get too much deep into that. I just want to say it was worse the second time I watched it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it would be hard for it to be worse just because those numbers were so incredibly terrible, looking at them Sunday night, just looking at the average. So I don't want to spend too much time on that either. I will say you said something really interesting there, and I hadn't even thought about this really. Brandon Aubrey's contract. I just looked it up. Harrison Butker is the highest paid kicker in the NFL. 4 years, 25 million. It's about 6.4 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any doubt that Aubrey's gonna command more than that?
Oh, no doubt at all. I mean,
Okay.
gee whiz,
Okay.
man.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 million a year. I don't know if it'll go. Back in the old days, there was a show called The $6 Million Man. Like we thought that was a lot of money back in the 70s and 80s. But
Yeah.
you said 4 million a year. You said or six?
6.4 million a year.
He's definitely at least getting 8.
Yeah,
Right?
I agree. I agree. And I asked that question because it's just, one more thing to throw in that. I knew
Yeah.
you were gonna have to pay Aubrey, but I thought prior to the season or early in the year when we were talking about this, 3 or 4 million maybe would have got you there. I agree with you completely. I think it's 7.5 or 8. And that 5 million might not sound like a lot, but when you're talking about cap, you're talking about paying Pickens, you got Kenny Clark, you got some other decisions to make.
Yeah.
That money could loom large.
Oh, they got to pay him. I mean, they have
Yeah.
to. And here I go again. Pay everybody. You get
Yeah.
one. You get one. You get one. I sound like Oprah over here.
Yeah.
But the point is, that's a guy you can't let leave. He is a weapon.
It's the one contract we're gonna agree on. Please
Yeah,
play
and
Aubrey.
and then the only other thing I want to say, shout out to Ryan Flournoy. What an unbelievable
Yeah.
game again, confirming it after watching film again. And we praised Jerry for the George Pickens trade.
Mhm.
But where in the world is Jonathan Mingo? Remember that trade?
Yeah, as a
Remember
fourth
that?
rounder? Was it a fourth
Yeah.
rounder?
So anyway, shout out to Flournoy for stepping up when we needed him most, and he played awesome. So that's really all I have on the Cowboys Lions
Yep.
revisited. So you got anything else, Nick, on that?
No, I'm just looking forward to. I was looking forward to Minnesota. I kept, I've been on the Dallas is making the playoffs. If they went out, everyone's seen the number now. If they went out, it's 51%.
Mhm.
I did not like the way that game went today with Washington. Minnesota with McCarthy is a very different team than when they don't have him, and I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried about Sunday night.
But you feel better about the Commanders winning against them, right? Beating the
Yes,
Commanders.
but I feel worse about it because Philly plays them twice, and I thought with with Jaden playing, they could split, and now I don't think that's possible.
Nick, I need you to look at me, right? I need you. Last time I was questioning whether you got a concussion. The Cowboys are not making the playoffs. They're not making the playoffs. It's too much. The only path now is with the Eagles.
Mhm.
And what you just said, Jaden Daniels is probably done for the year.
He's done for the year. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that's already 2 games they're going to win.
Yeah,
They play the Chargers on Monday night, probably without Herbert. We're not sure yet,
not
right?
sure.
So that's probably going to, if they don't have Herbert, that's a win, right?
100%. Yep.
Okay. They play Buffalo,
Yep.
who Buffalo
Raiders.
got 2 miracle defensive plays, not miracle, but 2 very unusual defensive plays to
Right.
win against Cincinnati, where Joe Burrow was balling. He was balling,
Yeah.
man,
The dude's so
in the
good.
snow, right?
So
Joe
good.
Burrow says snow ain't got nothing
Yeah.
on me.
Yep.
And then the weirdest throw, I don't know if he was shot putting that, trying to get it over, or they said maybe he didn't have it, but pick 6,
Just
goes
lost
the
it.
other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just lost it.
And
Yeah.
Josh Allen is a beast. We all know that.
Yep.
But do you think Philly's going to beat them? Probably not. That's one they're going to lose.
And it's in Buffalo. So
Yeah, so they're probably going to lose that.
Yeah.
Who else is on there?
The Raiders. They play the Raiders.
Okay, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Have you
lights
given
dimming.
it up?
The
Have you
lights
given it
dimming.
up?
I'm not I said I said on Thursday night that Monday night I may feel differently. Honestly, we didn't have to get to Monday night because the way Minnesota looked, I'm already,
Well,
you know,
that's the Commanders.
I
Jane
get
Daniels got
get it,
hurt. They're
but
probably playing for a better draft pick anyway, the Commanders are.
I'm sure
So
now, yeah, but still, I mean, I just don't love it. So no, I am not off. They're not making it, but the light is definitely dimming.
so let's go around the NFL a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
I was at the cool Elvis Christmas show, so I didn't get to see how the afternoon games wrap before we started filming. I mean, I didn't watch them. I saw the scores.
Right,
So
right.
let's talk about some of the earlier games where the Colts lost to the Jaguars, losing Daniel Jones to another Achilles
Yeah.
injury in the NFL.
Yeah, and you've been all over this all year about the Achilles injuries and just kind of questioning what's going on with this. Hate that you're proven right here because, and we talked about this after the Colts made the trade for Sauce and just like how much you were betting on Daniel Jones. And look, they believe in the guy, they believe in the guy. It's hard to fault them for it. They were looking like they were having a great year. Um, and so now you lose him not only for this obvious clearly the rest of this year, most likely for the majority of next season. It's December. So if you get him back in
Yeah,
January of next year, potentially, I suppose, but you just gave up a lot of draft capital to hopefully win a championship in the next 2 or 3 years. And now seemingly that window's gone, man. It's just devastating.
yeah.
I don't hate the Colts. I'm not a fan of the Colts. I'm kind of indifferent, but just as a football fan, man, you really hate it for that fan base. Really, really sucks for them.
In a little bit of a free fall now, the Colts are, and we'll
Yeah.
see what happens without Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Also in a free fall are the Buccaneers.
Yep.
What is going
Yeah.
on with Tampa Bay and Baker? They lost to the Saints
Now I wanna be fair to Baker, and you tell me what you feel about
in
this.
Tampa, by the way.
Yeah, it was in Tampa. He it just seems like he is running for his life back there, man.
Well, he is. Yeah, he
I mean,
is.
and so it's just he's doing everything he can. The dude is so tough. I've kind of always been a Baker fan.
Yeah, me too.
Just the kind of the way he plays. So it's kind of shocking because I thought even through that little stretch of them not looking the greatest, I still thought they'll get healthy eventually. This is still a team that you probably don't want to see in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. They're definitely in a free fall, and that offensive line is just they are getting worked now at every corner, and Baker's just running for his life.
No doubt about that. We also, in a little bit of a surprise, had the Steelers beat the Ravens today, early,
Maybe a little bit of a surprise since it was in Baltimore,
right?
but um, just kind of a little Tampa-esque. Baltimore has just not looked right either. Um,
Yeah, Lamar's not looked great.
no, it's, and I think I don't know. Is your this is feel because I don't even know the numbers. I'm gonna pull it real quick, but it just feels like Lamar just doesn't want to run. He
Well, again,
is
he's been
not.
injured, right? So he's
Yeah,
probably going, "Hey, I'm trying to." I don't know what he's saving himself for because they might not make the playoffs if you don't start
right.
doing something soon.
That's right.
So, yeah, I don't know what to make of the Ravens. It's just both the Steelers and the Ravens are pretty much the same. They're just up
Yeah.
and down, up and down, up and down.
Well, someone's got to
Um,
make the playoff in that division. Is all I'm gonna say.
yeah, but I mean, the Steelers just took a mighty step forward, beating them
Right.
there. So, we'll
Yep.
see how that plays out. And then you had the Seahawks just roll the Falcons, just roll them,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Seahawks are looking good, but again, they look good against teams that they're supposed to beat, and they take care of business. But do you believe in the Seahawks yet?
Yeah, I do. And honestly, whenever this was a couple weeks ago, I think you had them picked as your the best team in the NFC for you. Um, I just started paying a little bit closer attention. Jackson Smith and Jigba, man, that dude. You talk about weapons. You're talking about Aubrey earlier. Oof.
Shout out to the
Ohio State.
Rockwall Yellow Jackets.
Ohio State. If they're not wide receiver you at the, I love that conversation. What colleges are currently producing, the best players at what position? Um, if Ohio State isn't currently wide receiver you, I mean, maybe LSU might have a little bit of a conversation in there, but
For sure.
um, he's amazing, man. And that defense, they fly around the ball. I love watching their defense play. It's
For
hard
sure.
hard to ignore Seattle.
And I know watching the Indiana Ohio State game, that Jeremiah Smith is no joke, man.
Oh
I would have
man.
thrown it to him every time. I just thrown it up there,
Yeah.
let him go get it. But
Yeah. Yeah.
we also had a lot of games nobody cares about, like Dolphins and Jets.
Well, just
Dolphins
you say
roll
that
the Jets, and nobody
Jets
cares about these games.
15 years without a playoff appearance for the
Well,
Jets now.
but yeah, so that it's unfortunate because they thought they were going to do that with Rodgers,
Yep.
you get that lifted, but he tore his Achilles. Then you got the Browns and the Titans with Shador balling. Shador showing up and balling, but coming up short with Tennessee. I didn't see how that game ended. I was watching Elvis. What was that?
They went for 2 and they did a wildcat.
Oh, well, their 2-point play was terrible.
Yeah.
So they lost on a horrible 2-point play. Luke says nothing to do with Shador. It was a bad play and
bad play.
horribly executed.
Coaching. Look, if the coach is still there next year, I will be shocked.
He needs to be fired.
He needs to be fired. Yeah.
So clearly you can see how much better Shador is and how much the team wants Shador to be the quarterback.
They are playing so much more inspired football with him.
So why is he so against it? Why is Stefanski fighting this? Is he trying to, because of Shador's ego? Because who his dad is? I don't want to get I'm too fired up about that. But as far as standings, it's like, okay, the Titans just may have lost the first pick in the draft. I don't know. We'll see about that. We talked about the Bills beating the Bengals in a crazy, crazy game. And Joe Burrow is balling, and then the Bills find a way to pull it out. Yep. Packers beat the Bears. I didn't see any of this game, but I know it came down to the end, and Packers held on and got the W. Yeah, made that interception in the end zone.
Yep.
To seal the game, but man, that's bad for us because we need a higher pick from the Packers, and it doesn't look like we're going to get it. What else did I miss here? A bunch of, let's see, we got Rams. The Rams cooked the Cardinals, according to Luke. 45-17. Yeah, that game
it wasn't close. It was mildly entertaining for the first quarter and a half, maybe not even quarter and a half, and then it really got. I mean, the Rams just really put it on them.
And the Broncos beat the Raiders, but it was closer than most people thought. And we got the Chiefs Texans playing tonight. So with all that being said, who's your 2 Super Bowl favorites? AFC, NFC. Are you staying with your 2 previous, or who are you going with this week?
So I think we'll start in the AFC. The more that I've watched them play, and we talked about Mike Vrabel before. I'm a big Vrabel fan. It's really hard for me not to go with New England. They've just continuously. It's a consistent brand of football that they're putting on the field, and I think for me, especially with Drake May, being younger, it's impressive. It's just impressive to watch them play. So I'm gonna finally kind of come over to New England Patriots way of thinking here. And
you sure are starting to agree with me a lot.
Is that who you had left? I couldn't even remember who you had left.
Of course.
Is that who you had? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, I mean, they've got a pretty good they've got a good back-to-back coming up. They've got Buffalo and New England, and then they've got they're at Baltimore.
Well, they already went to Buffalo and beat Buffalo.
Right.
And this is Buffalo's got to return the favor.
And Buffalo kind of needs this game, right? They got to keep pace. It's not. I mean, they're likely going to make the playoffs, but it's not a lock. If they slip up here down the stretch, they could miss out altogether. So these will be some big games. So I would say New England in the AFC, and in the NFC. Last week I went with the Rams. Nothing today makes me feel like that's any different. Shout out Maestro for he's been on the Rams for almost a month now.
Me too. I jumped on that bandwagon before you did. So I had
for sure.
Patriots and Rams last week.
Yeah. So I'm gonna I guess I really couldn't remember your picks last week. I was trying to, but I couldn't. So I'm gonna be Patriots Rams.
Yeah. So hey, why don't you just keep re-listening to the show and watching the show and just pick all my picks? That would be smart. We're going to get into Nick's picks in just a minute, but maybe you need to retitle that segment Jeff's picks, because you're now coming to my way of thinking. I'm going to stick with the Patriots. They didn't, obviously play this week, so they're still the best team in the AFC, followed, closely maybe by the Broncos, but I'm going to go with the Patriots. But I'm not convinced with either of those two teams that they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
The Rams have been a notch above, I think, in the NFC for a while now. Luke was first on that, the maestro, and so I'm going to stick with the Rams. And Seattle's right on their heels, and then Green Bay is, with that win today, puts them back in the conversation, I guess. And so, but I'll stick with the Rams. Maestro, what about you? He's got the Rams in the NFC still, and the Broncos in the AFC. He's sticking with that. The Raiders game didn't scare him away from the Broncos. It's a rivalry game, I guess. So maybe that's why it was closer than we thought.
Yeah, maybe.
So, I hate it for the Colts because they were off to such a great start, and then now they're coming crashing back to earth. But I don't think they're in the conversation anymore, and they're barely in the playoffs. I don't believe in Jacksonville. So Patriots, Rams for both me and Nick. Rams and Broncos for the Maestro.
Yep.
All right, we're not done picking. Let's get into Nick's picks. Nick's picks. Maestro, hit the theme, buddy. All right, Nick, how'd you do? I think we already go over this on Thanksgiving? No, that was
That was for the
Thanksgiving was a week
slate.
ago.
Yeah.
Man, I still on Thanksgiving time, brother. I can't tell what day it is. So tell me how you did this week.
Yeah, so we got one left. I said I wasn't picking any more Monday night games, and then I picked a Monday night game. So we still got Philly tomorrow night. Yeah, I know. But so far, man, it's looking a little rough. We're 1-2 so far with Philly to go. So, I picked Dallas to win. That was a mistake, clearly.
Maybe the trick is you pick against Dallas the rest of the year, see if they win.
See if it works. Yeah.
Yeah. Reverse psychology.
Before the injury, I just want to say this: Jacksonville looked like they were probably going to win that game, and they were going to probably cover the 1.5. They were plus 1.5. I picked Jacksonville because I thought they were getting no love. So that one clearly covered. With Indiana Jones going out there. And then the other one that I incorrectly picked was Chicago. Chicago plus 5.5 at Green Bay.
Yeah.
I will say, watching that game and Caleb Williams throwing god awful interception in the end zone with 30 seconds left at the 12-yard. I mean, it's those things that people, when they tear apart Caleb Williams, it's so hard to argue with them because it's just such a bad decision.
Hey, you forget how Peyton Manning looked his first couple years in the NFL?
No,
Let's not
I
bury
remember.
the kid yet. Let's give the kid let's give the kid a chance, because compared to where he was last year, he's leaps and bounds ahead, light years ahead of where he was last year. And if he can make that kind of growth in 1 year with his new coach, Ben Johnson, just imagine. And I don't know who the quarterback's coach is there in Chicago. If somebody knows that, if you can look at it. But to me, I think I see a lot more promise in him now than I did, of course, last year. That could have been because of Eberflus. But
JT Barrett.
Yeah. So, shout out to JT Barrett and Ben Johnson for what they're doing with Caleb.
Ohio State quarterback stand out.
Yeah, I hate that your Buckeyes took an L, or maybe I don't. But but I just don't bury that kid yet. I mean, it was in Green Bay, ruckus crowd, big game. It's his second year. Let's relax, everybody, as Aaron Rodgers once said.
I mean, I get that's fair. I think all of that's fair to say. And honestly, with Ben Johnson, the future's probably way more bright than it is dim.
Yeah.
So that this week, tomorrow night we've got Philly minus 3.5. So as much as we need Philly to lose, I told you I don't ever bet with my heart. I'm very fortunate in that I'm capable of separating it. I picked Philly to win the game and win the game big. Now, having said that, the last report from today said that it is likely that Justin Herbert will play, and they are expecting Omarion Hampton to come back as well. So none of those two things have been made official. It's just the latest reports, and I went to the Chargers writers there to see what the latest was. So we'll see. It should be a good game. Having said that, we'll jump into to next week.
Wait. So what were you?
One
What
and
were
two.
you? 1 and 2 with the Monday night pending. Okay.
That's right. That's
All
right.
right.
1 and 2 with Monday night pending. Next week we got honestly, you're looking at the schedule and there's a couple of really, really big games on the schedule. A couple that I'm really, really interested in. But just jump right into the picks here. We've got Buffalo and New England in New England. Buffalo is a 1 point favorite. I'm going to take Buffalo -1.
Wow.
Yeah, I like Buffalo to get their game back. Um, in the upset of the week, we've got the Baltimore Ravens going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a 2.5 point underdog. I'm going to take the money line. I like Cincinnati to win straight up, no points. So we'll take Cincy in the upset special. Another big game, maybe not so much for the standings because it's interconference, but the Green Bay Packers going to the Denver Broncos. Big, big game potentially. I mean, just with the way things have gone, it's a potential Super Bowl matchup. Green Bay versus Denver. It's in Denver, and Denver's a 2.5 point dog. So I'll take Denver to cover. I'm sorry, yeah, Denver to take the +2.5. So Denver +2.5. And then lastly, Detroit Lions and Los Angeles Rams in LA. This is a game Detroit absolutely has to win. The over under in that game is 52.5. This could be a 70 point shootout.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'll take the over Detroit and LA in LA.
Okay, you're taking the over, but not gonna say who you think's gonna win that game.
I think LA will win the game.
But that's
But
not a
it's
Knicks pick. You're
it's not
going
a Knicks pick.
over. Over is the Knick pick. Okay.
Right, yeah. It's 4.5 points is a weird spread for that game because I can see it going down to the wire. And I think anytime Jared Goff gets a chance to go back to LA, it's hard for me not to feel like he's not putting just a little bit something on that game.
Right.
So yeah, I don't like the pick for the game just because of that kind of the emotional factor in it for Goff, but those offenses are phenomenal and it feels like an easily over. So quick recap, Buffalo -1 against New England, Cincinnati money line to just straight up beat Baltimore, Denver +2.5 at home against Green Bay, and then Detroit and the Rams over 52.5.
Man, I'm surprised you touched that Denver Green Bay game because that one, it's a little iffy. And Buffalo and New England's kind of too close to call. So good on you for not shying away from that. So, all right, that's another week of Knicks picks. Now, again, it's entertainment purposes only. But what's your overall record for the year?
Yeah, 23-12 is the overall record.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah,
23 times you won, 12 times you lost. So
in my feeling, in my heart, no
yeah,
money involved.
only in your moral guide to
Yeah, moral bank, the moral
your
bank.
moral bank. Yeah. But thank you for doing Knicks picks again. Let's see how you do. We'll revisit that next week. Now, something I'm really excited to talk about. Nick, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but our Dallas Mavericks are a half game out of the play-in because of the way they've been playing. They've won 4 out of 5, and 3 of those wins are against great teams. I think we are turning a corner here with AD coming back healthy. The rise of Cooper Flagg. Wave the flag, baby. Wave the flag. And the way this Ryan Nimhard coming out of nowhere, looking like Jason Kidd, but a better shooter than Kidd was when he first came in.
Yeah.
But assists like crazy. Don't look now, fans, but the Mavericks are back. Remember when I said what's killing Jeff? They're not dead yet a few weeks ago? I'm a prophet. These Mavericks beat the Nuggets at Denver, beat the Miami,
Rocket. Yeah.
beat the Rockets, lost to OKC, but who hasn't, right?
Right.
And also throw in a win against the Clippers if you want to say that's nothing. I agree.
Train
but
wreck.
4 out of 5, and they're 9-16, and a half game out of the play-in right now. What say you, Nick?
There's a couple of things that stuck out because I watched a lot of that Houston game. I was able to. I can't normally watch the Dallas games. I was able to watch that game.
Pay the money, man. Pay the money. Watch the games, Nick.
I
You're
paid the
doing a
money for this.
podcast, man. How are you gonna comment on the Mavericks if you can't watch the game?
I got you for that. I paid the money for the Spurs.
Well, then pay me the money, and I'll tell you what
and
happened.
and in paying the money for the Spurs, you would think I get 28 other teams, but I don't get the Mavericks because I live here. We won't get on that.
Yeah.
But here's the one thing I will say, and I'm not a Mavericks fan. This is very obvious, but there was something that puzzled me against Houston. Why didn't Nembhard play more? It felt and I didn't know it during the game. It just felt like I actually really enjoy watching him play. I enjoy his game.
Mhm.
And so after the game, I was like, man, I don't feel like he played a lot. Like I wanted to see more of him. And then I went back and looked at it, and sure enough, he played 23 minutes, was like 5 of 6 from the field, had 11 points, 7 assists, a phenomenal plus minus. I'm like, what? I don't understand. Now, maybe it's just because the game, I mean, not that it was ever out of reach, certainly. I mean, Dallas felt like they were the better team on that night. It just felt like Houston, was maybe a step slow, whatever the case may be. It's just weird. And I guess as a Mavericks fan, is that not a little troubling to you?
I don't know. My iPad's going weird here. I don't know what's happening right now, but here's what I'll say. Nembhard, dadgummit, what's happening with this stupid thing? Ryan Nembhard had a lot of assists early in that game, right?
Yeah.
I think he had like 6 in the first period or something crazy. So I'm trying to my iPad hates Ryan Nembhard. They don't like him. I'm looking at his time. Yeah, it's 23 minutes.
Yeah, it's insane.
71% field goal percentage.
Right.
7 assists. And he only had 2 fouls and 2 turnovers. So the question would be, maybe there's something happened we didn't know. Maybe you got
Like
kid's
injury
doghouse or something. Maybe, or maybe they were just taking it easy on the Rockets. And since the fourth quarter, we pulled away. They didn't need to play him. They didn't need to put him back in.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, and I haven't looked into that, but it's a very good point, and I'm glad you made that, because he's been around 24 minutes, 25 minutes most of the season, with his high minutes being on against Miami and Denver.
Okay.
But this is kind of a resurgence for him. They tried him early on.
Okay.
And he didn't, he was sort of out of sorts, but man, they said in practice he started balling. And so they put him back in, and he's been going off. What do you have, Maestro? Yeah, Brandon Williams played well in the second half.
Yeah.
So maybe they just went with Brandon
Split
Williams.
minutes.
But
yeah.
I don't think there's anything to worry about there unless he's, in kid's doghouse, which I haven't heard any reports of that. So I imagine it was just Brandon Williams playing well. We're pulling away. Let's not, put him back out there, I guess. Right. I mean, we didn't need him to go back out there, but his assist to turnover ratio since he's been back, I want to read his last 5 games. 7 assists, 2 turnovers. 4 assists, 1 turnover. 13 assists, 1 turnover. 10 assists, 0 turnovers. That
is like a 7 to
from
1
a rookie.
Yeah, it's like a 7 to 1 ratio.
So now, 9-16, you got the flag waving, baby. He's coming on, and man, what a clutch guy. He's got more clutch buckets than most everybody, it seems, other than Shea and those guys. But he's coming on, and I'm really excited because now we got Nembhard and Flagg, the rookie duo that they're calling them, and there's reason to be excited here. I know what you're going to say because you already texted to me. Enjoy it while it lasts, because AD's probably going to get hurt again. And I don't know why you can't give the Mavericks some credit here. Why do you have to go down a dark path here with the Mavericks?
Here's the thing, man. I'll add a little. Allow me to eject a little reality into these proceedings.
That is reality. 4 out of 5.
Yeah, sure. But here's the thing: the conversation about the Mavs is they are so, unfortunately for the Mavericks, and I really mean this, they are so dependent on AD, and he's not going to stay healthy. And here's the problem with everything that you said. I agree with a lot of the wins look great. Those are good wins against really, really good teams. The Spurs have beaten those same teams, and they've done it without 2 of their 3 best players.
We're talking about the Mavericks.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is
Don't bring
the Mavericks aren't capable of winning those games without AD. And you would agree you will not have him all year. He's gonna get hurt again.
Well, I mean, that's the history here, but I think you're missing the point here. As Cooper Flagg continues to evolve, if you look at his last 5 games, 35, 24, 22, 16, and 19, that's his last 5, and 16 was against OKC, where I don't even think Davis, how many minutes did Davis play in that game? Let me see here. In that game, Davis played 24 minutes.
Mhm.
And they lost, but Cooper Flagg, played well. And I think as he continues to evolve, you will be less dependent on AD. And who knows, they still might trade AD. But the way things are looking right now, there's a lot more hope in Mavericks town, in the D town, than we thought. And I know you said you wanted to bury them and thought they were dead. And I said to you, they're going to be in the play-in by the time this is all said and done, and they're almost already there. So the only thing I would counter with, if AD gets hurt and Kyrie's back, I don't think it's going to be as much of a factor, because the thing that hurts us is having Gafford, Lively, and AD hurt. They all can't
Mhm.
be hurt, and
Right,
and they
right.
have been. But what I wanted to say is, how about those Mavericks? They're coming, baby, and you better get used to this, because all your talk about the Spurs and how awesome they are, Wemby is the new AD. He can't even get on the floor. So he may be the new AD. So you can take that medicine right back at you when you're talking about AD. Wemby can't even get on the court. And I know it's a calf strain, and it's been how many weeks now?
2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
Seems like it's been longer.
No, he's missed, maybe it's been a little bit. He's missed, 9 games. So it's probably going on the 3rd week now.
When's Atlas 3i coming? I thought that was supposed to be here in November to take him home to the
I think
mothership.
it came and went. They left him behind.
So I want you now, okay, so you keep talking about Flagg and Dylan Harper like Dylan Harper's still going to be better than Flagg.
Yeah.
There's no way, with the rise of Cooper Flagg against the healthy competition that he's playing, that you still believe that. There's no way.
What are we talking? Are we talking individual talent, or are we talking about, if I'm starting a team today, which guy
See,
do I
this
want
is
on my
what you
team?
do, man. This is
I'm
what you do. We're
It's
talking
relevant.
about who's the best player of those
The
two,
better the
Dylan
better
Harper
indi
or Cooper Flagg.
the
Right now,
better
you got to pick
individual
one.
the better individual talent is Cooper Flagg.
Okay, so if I have a team right now, I'm taking Cooper Flagg over Dylan Harper.
No.
What has Dylan Harper showed you that Flagg has not showed you? Number
He
one,
makes
Dylan Harper
people
doesn't play defense.
he Yes, but it's not as bad as we thought. I looked at the numbers. He's not as much of a liability as we may
Not
have
as good
thought.
as Flagg at defense.
Certainly not. Cooper Flagg is
Steals and blocks. Look at him.
yeah, very, very good.
Yeah.
I think he's the best rookie defensive player, maybe. I gotta relook at the numbers, but he's up there. He's top 3,
And Rookie of the Month in November.
and rookie of the month in November. But he's got the ability to put up some stats now. I mean, he didn't have AD, and even with AD, clearly they're still running the offense through him. He's the number 1 option.
Yeah, hold on. Stop
Um,
right there. Because you
mhm.
told me, well, it's easy for him to put up stats. And AD's not there. But his stats since AD has come back have gone up.
Well,
Now, what say
Kyrie's
you, Nick, to that? How do you reconcile that in your brain?
Well, the primary usage player that you have on the team is still not playing. So he
Okay.
clearly is still going to have the opportunity to put up a lot.
So you said to me, because AD's not there,
Uh-huh. And
Cooper's
Kyrie's not
getting
there.
a chance to pad the stats.
Yeah.
AD comes back, his game lifts, and he gets more stats. Now you're going to the only thing you got left was Kyrie's not back.
Well, he's not back, and
I
he's a
know he's
high
not back,
usage
but
player.
you think his
AD's not.
stats will go down when Kyrie gets back?
I mean, they have to,
They
right?
don't have to. Maybe
Sure they
PJ's,
do.
maybe Najee's, maybe somebody else's go down, because we are witnessing the rise of Cooper Flagg. And I'm going to get you a Cooper flag so you can wave it proudly, baby.
Don't make me burn a Cooper Flagg jersey on the podcast, please.
I didn't say jersey. I said flag.
Well, don't make me burn a flag. That's disrespectful to the flag. Look, I still do like Dylan Harper to start a team with. He makes people around him better. He
And flag
is.
doesn't.
It doesn't seem like it. When you watch the games, who is he? These guys around him are exactly what they are without Cooper Flagg. I,
Mm.
I think Dylan
Can I
Harper
say that
is.
same thing about Wemby? Because those guys are playing good without Wemby.
Yeah, I think you absolutely can say that about
Okay,
Wemby.
so if you had a team and you take Harper over Wemby because he makes teams better, his teammates
No,
better.
because Wemby is significantly better than Flagg defensively.
Oh,
Significantly better than him
just because
defensively.
he's tall and you can stand him right there in front of the basket. It's not like he's athletic and he gets steals. He's just tall and block shots.
Okay, so since you're going down this path, and since we're on a
No.
podcast, I
Let's
want
stick
to
to
hear you
Flagg
say
and
it.
Harper.
No. You just said there, so we're going to go there for a second. So
Okay.
what you're saying is that because Wemby is simply tall,
Mm-hmm.
he is not the elite level defender that
He's not.
everybody else in the world knows he is.
He's not an elite level defender, Nick. What he is tall, and so it's hard
Okay.
to shoot over him. But what I said about Wemby is true. Is he can't stay on the court, just like AD. He
So
has
far.
not got enough muscle to keep his frame up. So there's nothing elite about the way he moves defensively. He's just tall. You can't shoot over him. I mean, last I checked, being tall at basketball is awesome, is a good thing, but it's not a skill. And
so by that account, Sean Bradley should have been much more effective defensively.
You
than
might
he
want to go
ever
back and
was.
look at Sean Bradley's block shots. I think he blocked a lot more than you thought, but he was awful. I'm not comparing Sean Bradley to Wemby. I'm saying because he was tall, he got more block shots than he would have if he was 5 inches shorter. That's what I'm trying to tell you, because Wemby's much more of an athlete than Sean Bradley. And this is what you do. You want to get off topic here because you know this Harper thing.
You're the one that said it.
I know you said Harper, you would take him over Cooper because he makes teammates better.
Correct.
And I said, well, why doesn't he do the same thing better than Wemby? Wemby doesn't make his teammates better.
But Wemby's significantly better in all the. The way that Wemby impacts a game defensively is not the same way that Cooper Flagg impacts a game defensively.
I totally agree because the only way Wemby impacts the game is by blocking shots. It's not like he's a lockdown defender, Nick. Stop that. It's not like he's getting steals like Cooper Flagg. It's not like he's jumping passing lanes. He's just long. I mean, he holds his hands out. He's over half the court by himself. So listen. This is what you want to do because we're going back to Dylan Harper versus Cooper Flagg. That's what we're talking about.
I write to start my franchise right now today. These are two rookies. You talk about Cooper Flagg's age. They're only a year apart. Not even. I think it's like 10 months or something. It's not that much of an age gap. So they're both obviously very young right now. And in their career, I'm projecting this out. Dylan Harper will consistently be a part of winning teams on better teams more regularly than Cooper Flagg ever will.
That's not what we're talking about, Nick. We're talking about who's the better player. Their situation is not in their control. You know that, right?
It has to translate to wins at some point.
Okay, but so they've won 4 out of 5 with the rise of Cooper Flagg. You don't think that's translating to wins? What was Harper last game? 1 for 9?
He had a bad game.
Yeah, so my point is, take Harper off the Spurs, they probably still win. You take Flagg off the Mavericks, they probably don't still win. That's my point.
Okay. I mean, the problem for Dylan Harper in this conversation right now is that he is unfortunate that there's so much talent on the Spurs team that you're 100%. It's hard to argue that point. He's not needed when you've got De'Aaron Fox and Steph Castle and Devin Vassell, and I can keep going. Cooper Flagg's they've got nobody there. He's their second best. He's their second best player right now.
Yes, he is, and he's a rookie. And if you look at what he's doing as a rookie, it's quite impressive. But you want to sit here and prop up Dylan Harper like he's a second coming of Jordan as a rookie or something. I don't know what you're doing. But to me, this last 10 games has proven Flagg is elevating. Harper's not elevating. Whether he has to or not, he's not.
I mean, I think a little bit of that is just like you're talking about, you can't be in control of your circumstance to the ultimate thing of winning. That has to then apply to the fact that it's not his fault that his circumstance dictates that he doesn't have the ability to elevate in the same way, because that's not what they're asking him to do.
Yeah, I know they're not asking him to do it, but the other side of it is he might be able to make plays more for his people, but I think Flagg's going to ultimately be a better scorer and a much better defender. And Flagg can facilitate enough to where it's not, the gap between him and Harper is not going to be that dramatic. I think the scoring, I think Flagg will eventually be able to score 24, 25 or more a game. And I don't know that Harper ever gets there, whether he's asked to or not. I think he's going to be a very solid player. I don't think right now, if you ask me, I would not take Dylan Harper over Cooper Flagg. And I think if you ask most of the GMs in the NBA, they wouldn't either. Now, if you want to talk about, other players, you talk about Cooper not having anybody. What about Knipple in Charlotte? He doesn't have any. He can just fire threes all day long because it's just him and LaMelo.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot to that, right? I think there's a lot to that conversation of just circumstance. What you just described in the Cooper versus Harper conversation is like, and I'm just trying to think, you're talking about like a prime Shawn Marion, the Matrix, against like a prime Steve Nash.
What?
Like, which would you rather have? A guy that just creates for his team and can score a little. Go look at Steve Nash's career scoring. He never scored more than like 23, 24 a game.
You better look again when he was with Phoenix. You might want to look at that again.
I think his MVP.
He became an MVP of the league.
But I think he only averaged like 23 or 24 that year. I'm gonna look it up real quick. But regardless, so
what's that?
But in general, the idea is a good to elite scorer and a great defender versus a high level playmaker that doesn't defend.
That's questionable. High level? Come on, man. He hasn't done that.
Well, let's just give the benefit of the doubt for what he could be. Let's just give the benefit of the doubt. And which would you rather have?
But not to Cooper Flagg about what he could be?
No. I'm saying, Sean, the elite defender, great scorer, versus the great playmaker and average scorer that can't defend. Which would you rather have on your team?
Marion and Steve Nash is a good comparison here.
It may not be.
Dylan Harper's not even close to Steve Nash. So and I think Harper and Flagg are closer to playing the same position than Marion and Nash. I think that's just a bad example.
Steve Nash's MVP, so this is going to make my point for me here. Steve Nash's MVP season, so 18.8 points a game and 10.5 assists.
Right.
Just on the page, that is pedestrian. How many guys are averaging 18 and 10 since his MVP season that weren't even in the top 5 in voting?
What did he do the other years in Phoenix?
Let me look at it. But the idea though is that an elite playmaker is going to create so much for everyone around them. So his best season in Phoenix, just while we're here, he averaged, it was that season, 18.8 points. He never averaged more than that.
Ever in his career?
No. That was his career high. For his career, he averaged 14.3 points.
Yeah, because there was a lot of
bad year. Yeah.
So are you set? So you think Harper's going to average 18 points a game in his career?
Yes.
What makes you think that?
When they move on from De'Aaron Fox.
When's that? Because they just signed him.
Probably. Well, look. Okay, there's a whole. I don't want to get off topic there, but I think there's a conversation to where they could potentially move off of Fox at the trade deadline. It depends on how this season's going. But that's a lot of money you're paying to a guy that you have a lot of redundancy at this position. Well, if you're going to come off of one of them, Castle, Harper, Fox, clearly it's Fox that you come off of.
Agree, unless you think more of Fox than you do of Harper, and you trade him because you're uncertain at this point. It's not fair to him to decide what he's going to be right now. Just like I'm telling you, you can't say he's going to be this elite playmaker and then trade Fox and then Harper doesn't pan out. That makes you not look great as a GM, right? But if I say, hey, this is a proven player, De'Aaron Fox, and he's still young enough to where I won't need Harper, I can trade Harper to get pieces that could take me to a championship. That's not bad thinking. It might not be the best thing that I would do because to me, Fox is a scorer and a playmaker second. Harper might be a playmaker first and a scorer second. But what I'm trying to get you to see, and hopefully the people out there in the comments that aren't Spurs fans, that are NBA basketball fans can see that what they saw in Cooper Flagg, what all the pundits saw is showing up right now. And he's elevating. And right now, you don't see that from Harper. Now, to his credit, he's been injured, and Wemby's not been there, and they're not asking him to do it. But he may never be asked to do it, Nick. Have you thought about that? He could be a role player his whole life.
100. No, he won't be. Here's the thing. Here, just to that point, because I think it is a good point. The problem with that, just like everything else, when we get into the nitty gritty of this, is the money. De'Aaron Fox cost you $37 million plus every year for the next 4 years. Dylan Harper cost you around $12 million a year for the next 4 years. And if everything we've seen so far, and I think for me, and this is my opinion, everything I've seen so far is that De'Aaron Fox is clearly the better scorer and better clutch player right now.
So you're willing to trade that for promise and potential?
Well, obviously, I'm getting something really good in return. I'm not just giving it up.
No, you're giving up De'Aaron Fox for what? I mean, see, this is where I don't like this.
Yeah.
But you're saying that you've already made a judgment call that Harper is going to transcend and be better than De'Aaron Fox, so we might as well go ahead and get rid of Fox.
No,
which is too early. It's premature is what I'm saying.
What I was going to say, because the point that you made was you may not ask Dylan Harper to do that. And that's what I'm saying is that I don't necessarily think that he has to.
Yeah.
His goal isn't I have to be better than whomever. What they're going to ask him to do may be a la Tony Parker, maybe a little Ginobili. It may be, hey, I don't need you to go be a 30-point a night scorer. I need you to not cost us games. I need you to put your teammates in a position to win and do it at a high level.
They shouldn't ask him to do that. They shouldn't ask him to do that. That's what I'm saying. But if you take that off your team in De'Aaron Fox, you got to get something back. And I think we need to table this because we are way out of time. And I'll tell you this, it's awesome. It's a spirited debate, but tell us in the comments, you rocking with Flagg or are you rocking with Dylan Harper? You feel like the Mavs are going to make the play in? Or do you feel like, Nick, it's just they're like the Cowboys, an accident waiting to happen with AD? Tell us what you think. And look, I like the debate, but on this one, I think you're not going to win the public opinion unless they have Spurs all in their blood. But if you take away the Mavs fans and you take away the Spurs fans, I don't think you're going to get people to be on your side on this one.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, listen, we've had a lot of fun today. We've gone over time again. The maestro just is watching the Texans and Chiefs and just letting us talk. So I appreciate that, Luke, letting us go and not cutting us off. But we thank you for tuning in for this episode. We're 12 episodes in, and we continue to get better and better at this. Thank you for being a part of this one. Until next time, peace.